Most people watching this video will stay average for the rest of their lives. Not because they are stupid, not because they are weak, but because they never make a decision to change who they are. They wake up every morning with dreams in their mind and fear in their heart. They talk about success, talk about greatness, talk about changing their lives, but when pressure arrives, they fold. When pain arrives, they quit. When sacrifice is required, they disappear. And maybe that person is you. Maybe you are tired of starting over. Maybe you are tired of feeling weak. Maybe you are tired of watching other people live the life you know you deserve. But listen carefully, there are two versions of you living inside your mind right now. One version wants comfort. One version wants greatness. One version says sleep longer. The other says get up and fight. One version makes excuses. The other takes responsibility. And every single day, those two versions are at war. The scary part is this. Most people let the weak version win. Every single time. They waste years scrolling, complaining, doubting themselves, blaming the world, waiting for motivation, waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. Then one day they wake up full of regret, realizing they destroyed their own potential with comfort, fear, and excuses. But there are a few people, a rare few, who decide they are done being weak. They become obsessed with growth, obsessed with discipline, obsessed with becoming dangerous. Those people become unstoppable. And tonight, something inside you needs to wake up. Not the soft version of you, not the lazy version, not the version that runs every time life gets hard. I'm talking about the beast inside you. The version of you that can suffer without quitting. The version that can stay focused while everybody else gets distracted. The version that can keep going even when nobody believes in you. Because pain changes people. Pressure changes people. Struggle. Glee changes people. And maybe everything you went through was not meant to destroy you. Maybe it was meant to create you. Maybe the betrayal made you stronger. Maybe the failures made you wiser. Maybe the struggle was training you for a bigger purpose. But none of it matters if you continue choosing comfort over growth. So today, you have a decision to make. Stay average or become something greater. Stay soft or become disciplined. Stay distracted or become obsessed. Because the world does not remember people who almost succeeded. The world remembers people who refuse to quit. And if you stay with me until the end of this video, I promise you this, the person watching right now will not be the same person leaving this video. This is not just motivation. This is transformation. Discipline over feelings means learning one of the hardest truths in life. Your feelings cannot always be trusted to lead you toward greatness. Most people wake up and make decisions based on how they feel in the moment. If they feel motivated, they work hard. If they feel tired, they stop. If they feel confident, they chase their dreams. If they feel afraid, they run away from challenges. That is why so many people stay average for their entire lives. Their emotions control their actions, and their actions control their future. But the people who achieve greatness live differently. They understand that feelings change every single day. Motivation comes and goes. Confidence rises and falls. Energy is not always there. Some mornings you wake up inspired and ready to conquer the world. Other mornings you feel weak, exhausted, and completely lost. If your success depends on your emotions, your success will always be temporary. Discipline is what keeps you moving when motivation disappears. Discipline means doing what must be done even when you do not feel like doing it. It means waking up early when your body begs you to sleep longer. It means staying focused when distractions are around. Everywhere. It means continuing to work when nobody is clapping for you, supporting you, or believing in you. Discipline is choosing long-term greatness over short-term comfort. The truth is, feelings love comfort. Feelings want easy. Feelings want safety. Feelings want pleasure without sacrifice. Your feelings will tell you to skip the workout, delay the project, waste time, and stay inside your comfort zone. Your feelings will convince you that you can start tomorrow. But tomorrow becomes next week, next month, and eventually next year. That is how dreams die. Not because people are incapable, but because they listen to their emotions more than their purpose. Discipline is different. Discipline does not negotiate. Discipline does not care if you are tired, bored, or unmotivated. It simply says, get the job done, and that mindset changes everything. Because once you learn to act without depending on emotions, you become unstoppable. You stop being controlled by temporary moods. ND start building permanent results. Look at athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, and champions in any field. They are not successful because they always felt inspired. They are successful because they trained themselves to keep going regardless of how they felt. There were days they wanted to quit, days they doubted themselves, days they felt weak, but they understood something powerful. Winners and losers both feel the same emotions. The difference is that winners do not allow emotions to decide their actions. Think about the gym. The first few days are exciting. You feel motivated. You imagine becoming stronger, healthier, and more confident. But after a few weeks, the excitement fades. Your body hurts. Progress feels slow. Your mind starts making excuses. That is the moment discipline matters most. Because the people who only rely on motivation will quit. The disciplined person keeps showing up, month after month, year after year, and eventually the results appear. Life works the South and way in every area. Building a business requires discipline. Studying requires discipline. Becoming mentally strong requires discipline. Creating a better future requires discipline. There will always be moments when you feel like stopping. But success belongs to the people who continue anyway. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting to feel ready. They wait for confidence before taking action. They wait for motivation before working hard. They wait for perfect conditions before starting. But discipline teaches you that action comes first, not feelings. Confidence is built by doing difficult things repeatedly. Strength is built by pushing through resistance. Success is built by consistency, not emotion. There will be mornings when you feel exhausted and still need to get up. There will be nights when you feel discouraged but still need to continue. There will be seasons where nobody notices your effort, nobody supports your vision, and nothing seems to work. Those are the moments that define you. Anybody can work hard when they feel inspired. Very few people can remain committed when they feel nothing at all. That is why discipline is powerful. It separates the average from the elite. Discipline also builds self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you become stronger mentally. Every time you refuse to quit, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than your emotions. You begin trusting yourself, and that trust creates confidence. Real confidence does not come from words. It comes from evidence. It comes from knowing that no matter how hard life gets, you will continue moving forward. People often think discipline is punishment, but it is actually freedom. Without discipline, you become a slave to your impulses. You waste time, chase distractions, and lose control over your life. But with discipline, you gain power over yourself. You control your habits instead of your habits controlling you. You decide your future instantly, instead of letting emotions decide it for you. Understand this clearly. Your future is created by what you repeatedly do, not by what you occasionally feel. Small, disciplined actions repeated daily create massive results over time. One workout will not transform your body, but years of disciplined training will. One day of studying will not change your life, but consistent learning will. One motivational speech will not make you successful, but disciplined action every single day can completely transform your reality. The problem is that discipline is uncomfortable in the beginning. It requires sacrifice. It requires patience. It requires doing hard things without immediate rewards. Most people quit because they want fast results. But discipline teaches you to trust the process even when results are invisible. A seed planted underground does not become a tree overnight. For a long time, nothing seems to happen. But beneath the surface, roots are growing. Discipline works the same way. Every day you stay committed, you are building roots, mental strength, character, resilience, focus, and eventually the growth becomes visible to everyone. There is also a hidden power in discipline. It creates momentum. The more consistently you act, the easier it becomes to continue. At first, waking up early feels painful. Eventually, it becomes normal. At first, working hard feels exhausting. Eventually, it becomes part of your identity. Discipline shapes who you become. And once discipline becomes part of your identity, your entire life changes. You stop looking for excuses. You stop depending on motivation. You stop quitting every time life gets difficult. You become reliable, focused, and mentally strong. You become someone who can handle pressure and keep moving forward no matter what happens. That is what discipline over feelings truly means. It means understanding that your emotions are temporary, but your actions create your destiny. It means refusing to let comfort destroy you. Our potential, it means making a decision that no matter how you feel, you will continue pursuing greatness, because in the end, successful people are not always the smartest, the most talented, or the luckiest. Often they are simply the most disciplined. They learn how to keep going when others stopped. They master themselves. And once you master yourself, nothing in this world can stop you. Pain creates power because struggle has the ability to transform an ordinary person into someone unstoppable. Most people hate pain. They run from it, complain about it, and see it as punishment. But the truth is that pain is often the greatest teacher life will ever give you. Without pain, there is no growth. Without pressure, there is no strength. Without hardship, there is no transformation. Every powerful person you admire was shaped by difficulty. Nobody becomes mentally strong by living an easy life. Easy lives create weak minds. Comfort creates laziness. But pain forces people to evolve. Pain forces people to think differently, move differently, and become stronger than they were before. Think about the strongest version of yourself. It was not created during the easiest moments of your life. It was created during the moments when life tested you. The nights you cried alone, the failures that embarrassed you, the betrayals that broke your trust, the moments when you felt like giving up but somehow kept going anyway. Those experiences hurt, but they also built something inside you that comfort never could. Pain has a way of revealing what a person is truly made of. When everything is going well, anyone can smile, stay positive, and feel confident. But when life becomes difficult, character is exposed. Hardship shows who is willing to fight and who is ready to quit. That is why pain is powerful. It strips away excuses and forces you to confront yourself. A lot of people pray for success, but they are not prepared for the suffering attached to greatness. They want confidence without fear. They want victory without sacrifice. They want strength without struggle. But life does not work that way. Every level of greatness demands pain. Every dream requires sacrifice. Every transformation requires discomfort. Look at the gym as an example. Muscles grow through resistance. When you lift weights, the muscle fibers break down under pressure. It is painful. Your body becomes sore and exhausted. But during recovery, the muscles rebuild stronger than before. Life works exactly the same way. Your struggles are breaking you down so you can rebuild into someone stronger. The problem is that many people quit during the painful stage because they think pain means failure. But pain is often a sign that growth is happening. When you are learning a new skill, it feels uncomfortable. When you are chasing a dream, rejection hurts. When you are trying to improve your life, you face obstacles, criticism, and doubt. That discomfort is part of the process. Pain teaches ease lessons that comfort never can. Pain teaches patience because some wounds take time to heal. Pain teaches resilience because life will knock you down repeatedly. Pain teaches humility because failure reminds you that you still have room to grow. Pain teaches gratitude because once you have suffered, you appreciate blessings more deeply. Some of the strongest people in the world were once broken people. Their pain changed them. Instead of allowing suffering to destroy them, they used it as fuel. They turned heartbreak into motivation. They turned rejection into determination. They turned struggle into discipline. That is the difference between people who stay weak and people who become powerful. Weak people allow pain to make them bitter. Strong people allow pain to make them better. When life hurts you, you have two choices. You can let it break your spirit, or you can let it build your character. You can sit in self-pity and complain about how unfair life is, or you can rise up and decide that your struggle will become the reason for your growth. Every scar tells a story. Every setback carries a lesson. Every difficult season has the potential to shape you into someone wiser and stronger. The pain you survive today can become the strength you rely on tomorrow. One of the hardest truths to accept is that pain is unavoidable. Nobody escapes struggle. Every person faces disappointment, failure, loneliness, fear, and loss at some point in life. The question is not whether pain will come. The question is how you will respond when it arrives. Some people collapse under pressure because they never learned how to endure discomfort. They spent their whole lives avoiding challenges. But people who embrace struggle develop mental toughness. They become difficult to break because pain has already trained them. Mental toughness is built through repeated hardship. Every time you survive a difficult moment, you become stronger emotionally. Every challenge you overcome increases your confidence. You begin realizing that you are capable of handling more than you once believed. Pain also destroys illusions. It forces you to see reality clearly. Failure humbles you. Rejection sharpens you. Struggle teaches you who truly supports you and who disappears when life gets difficult. Pain removes fake strength and builds real strength. Sometimes the greatest breakthroughs in life happen after the greatest breakdowns. Many people discover their purpose during their darkest moments. They find their inner strength after everything else falls apart. When comfort disappears, you are forced to dig deeper within yourself. There is a reason diamonds are created under pressure. There is a reason gold must pass through fire to become pure. Greatness is forged through adversity. The strongest souls are often the people who endured the hardest battles. Pain also creates hunger. When you have suffered enough, you stop settling for mediocrity. You stop making excuses. You become determined to change your life. Hunger pushes people beyond limits they never thought possible. Some people were born with advantages while others had to fight for everything they have. But often the fighters become stronger because struggle gave them discipline, resilience, and determination. Pain forced them to grow faster. Never underestimate what your suffering can produce. The pain you feel today may be preparing you for a responsibility you cannot yet see. The hardship you endure now may become the reason you inspire others later. There are people who look successful on the outside but collapse under pressure because they never developed inner strength. Then there are people who have been through hell and still stand tall because pain built something powerful inside them. Real strength is not about appearances. It is about endurance. You must learn to stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? That shift changes every time. Because pain becomes less about punishment and more about preparation. Every difficult moment in life carries an opportunity to grow stronger, to become wiser, to develop discipline, to build resilience, to transform into someone capable of handling greater challenges. And one day you will look back at the pain you once hated and realize it created the person you became. The struggle that almost broke you gave you strength. The failures that embarrassed you gave you wisdom. The suffering that made you cry gave you power. That is why pain creates power. Not because suffering itself is beautiful, but because of what it can produce inside a person who refuses to quit. Pain can either destroy you or develop you. The choice belongs to you. The strongest people are not those who never suffered. The strongest people are those who kept moving forward despite the suffering. They carried the pain, learned from it, and turned it into fuel. And because of that, life could no longer break them. Obsessive focus is the ability to lock your mind onto a goal so completely that distractions lose their power over you. In a world filled with noise, entertainment, opinions, and endless interruptions, focus has become one of the rarest and most powerful qualities a person can develop. Most people want success, but very few people are truly focused enough to achieve it. They start one thing, quit halfway, jump to another idea, lose motivation, get distracted, and repeat the cycle for years. That is why so many dreams remain unfinished. People often mistake interest for commitment. They say they want greatness, but their actions reveal something different. Real focus is not talking about goals every day. Real focus is sacrificing comfort, entertainment, and distraction in order to move closer to your vision. It is the ability to say no to things that do not serve your purpose. Obsessive focus means your mission becomes more important than temporary pleasure. The problem is that modern life is designed to destroy focus. Every day, people are flooded with notifications, social media, endless videos, opinions, and distractions competing for their attention. Attention has become a battlefield. The average person cannot sit quietly for a few minutes without checking their phone. Their minds are constantly pulled in different directions. And when your attention is scattered, your potential becomes scattered too. Greatness requires depth. Depth requires concentration. And concentration requires focus. Think about any master in any field. Athletes, musicians, entrepreneurs, scientists, artists, leaders, they all share one thing in common. They became obsessed with improvement. While others wasted time chasing distractions, they stayed committed to mastering their craft. They understood that success is not built in random moments of effort. Success is built through consistent focus over long periods of time. Obsession is what separates the average F from the extraordinary. Average people work when it is convenient. Focused people work even when they are tired, bored, or uncomfortable. Average people get distracted by every new trend and opportunity. Focused people stay loyal to the mission. They understand that power comes from consistency, not constant switching. One of the biggest reasons people fail is because they divide their energy across too many things. They chase every opportunity, every shortcut, every distraction. But energy scattered in 10 directions becomes weak. Energy concentrated in one direction becomes powerful. A laser can cut through steel because its energy is focused. Human beings work the same way. When your mind, effort, and discipline are fully aligned toward one purpose, your progress becomes unstoppable. Obsessive focus also requires sacrifice. You cannot become exceptional while living like everyone else. There will be moments when you must choose between entertainment and growth, between comfort and discipline, between temporary fun and long-term success. Most people choose comfort. That is why most people remain average. Focused people understand that every decision matters. They protect their time carefully because they know time is life itself. Every hour wasted on meaningless distractions is an hour stolen from their future. They become intentional with their habits, their environment, and the people around them. The people around you can either strengthen your focus or destroy it. Negative people drain energy. Distracted people normalize laziness. People without ambition will often mock those who are serious about their goals. That is why focused individuals sometimes walk alone. Not because they hate people, but because they refuse to allow distractions to pull them away from their mission. There is a lonely side to obsession. Sometimes you will be misunderstood. People may think you are too serious, too intense, or too driven. They may not understand why you wake up early, why work late, or sacrifice comfort for your dreams. But focused people understand something others do not. Temporary sacrifice creates permanent rewards. Obsessive focus also means learning how to ignore noise. Everybody has opinions. Everybody has advice. Everybody wants your attention. But if you constantly listen to every voice around you, you lose connection with your own vision. Focus requires mental discipline. It requires the ability to silence distractions and stay connected to what truly matters. There will always be reasons to quit. There will always be obstacles, setbacks, criticism, and fear. But focus keeps you moving forward. When your vision becomes strong enough, distractions lose their power. You stop wasting energy comparing yourself to others because your mind is locked onto your own path. One of the greatest dangers in life is drifting without purpose. People wake up, scroll endlessly, waste hours on meaningless entertainment, complain about their lives, and wonder, nothing changes. Years pass, and they remain stuck in the same place because they never fully committed to anything. Focus gives life direction. It transforms energy into progress. A focused person understands the value of repetition. Mastery is not built through random bursts of effort. It is built through daily commitment. Small, disciplined actions repeated consistently create extraordinary results over time. One focused hour every day is more powerful than occasional moments of motivation. There are days when focus feels difficult. Your mind becomes restless. Distractions become tempting. Progress feels slow. That is where obsession matters most. because obsession keeps you connected to your purpose even during difficult seasons. It pushes you to continue when excitement fades. Focus also strengthens confidence. Every time you complete difficult tasks instead of avoiding them, you build trust in yourself. Every time you resist distractions, you strengthen your discipline. Over time, you stop seeing yourself as someone who only talks about goals. You begin seeing yourself as someone who executes. Execution is everything. Dreams without action are fantasies. Ideas without discipline remain useless. Focus turns vision into reality because it creates consistent action. The world rewards people who can stay committed long enough to produce results. Obsessive focus is not about perfection. It is about dedication. There will still be mistakes, failures, and moments of weakness. But focused people do not allow temporary setbacks to destroy their mission. They adapt, learn, and continue moving forward. One of the most powerful things about focus is that it changes identity. At first, discipline feels forced. Work feels difficult. Sacrifice feels painful. But eventually, your habits shape who you become. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying to succeed. You begin becoming the type of person who naturally operates with discipline and purpose. The strongest minds in the world are not necessarily the smartest. They are often the most focused. Intelligence without focus becomes wasted potential. Talent without focus leads to inconsistency. But even an ordinary person with extraordinary focus can achieve incredible things. Focus also creates momentum. The more consistently you work toward your goals, the more progress you see. That progress creates motivation, which creates more action. Over time, your confidence grows because you realize you are capable of more than you once believed. There will always be distractions in life. Comfort will tempt you. Entertainment will pull at your attention. Fear will try to stop you. But if you can train yourself to remain focused while others are distracted, you gain a massive advantage in life. At the end of the day, obsessive focus is about deciding what matters most and refusing to let anything pull you away from it. It is waking up every day with purpose. It is staying committed when others lose interest. It is understanding that greatness requires intensity, sacrifice, and consistency, because average people dabble. Average people quit. Average people get distracted. But focused people transform their lives because they stay locked onto the mission long enough to make it real. Transformation requires sacrifice, because you cannot become a new person while holding on to the habits, mindset, and comfort that created your current life. Every level of growth demands that something old must be left behind. People often want success, confidence, strength, discipline, and greatness, but they also want to remain comfortable. They want change without sacrifice. They want rewards without pain. But real transformation has always required giving something up in exchange for something greater. The truth is that every powerful version of yourself is hidden behind difficult choices, behind early mornings, behind discipline, behind loneliness, behind moments where you must choose between what feels good now and what will benefit you later. Sacrifice is the price of growth. Without sacrifice, there is no evolution. Think about a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. It cannot stay the same and still transform. It must go through a painful process of change. Human beings are no different. Growth demands discomfort because transformation means leaving behind an old identity. And that process is never easy. Most people stay stuck because they refuse to sacrifice what is familiar. Familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar growth. Even if they are unhappy, they cling to habits, routines, and environments that keep them limited because change feels uncomfortable. But comfort zones are dangerous places. They may feel safe, but nothing powerful grows there. Every dream comes with a cost. Want a strong body? Sacrifice laziness? Want financial success? Sacrifice excuses and wasted time? Want mental strength? Sacrifice the habit of quitting when things get hard? Want greatness? Sacrifice. Ice, comfort, distraction, and mediocrity. People see successful individuals enjoying the rewards, but they rarely see the sacrifices behind the scenes. They do not see the sleepless nights, the failures, the discipline, the rejection, and the lonely seasons. They only see the final result. But every successful person paid a price long before the world noticed them. Sacrifice is painful because it forces you to delay gratification. Human nature wants immediate pleasure. It wants comfort now, entertainment now, rest now. But transformation requires thinking beyond the present moment. It requires the ability to endure temporary discomfort for long-term growth. A student sacrifices free time to study for a better future. An athlete sacrifices comfort to train every day. An entrepreneur sacrifices stability to build something meaningful. Every powerful achievement is built on sacrifice. The problem is that many people want extraordinary results while making ordinary sacrifices. They want success, but they are unwilling to give up distractions. They want a better future, but they continue repeating the same habits every day. Transformation cannot happen without change, and change always requires sacrifice. Sometimes the sacrifice is external. You give up bad habits, unhealthy environments, toxic relationships, or wasted time. Other times, the sacrifice is internal. You must let go of fear, ego, doubt, and limiting beliefs. Often the hardest part of transformation is not changing your circumstances, it is changing yourself. You may need to sacrifice the version of you that constantly seeks approval from others. You may need to sacrifice laziness, excuses, or the habit of procrastination. You may need to stop identifying with weakness and start building a stronger mindset. Transformation begins when you stop protecting the person you used to be. One of the most painful sacrifices is separation. As you grow, not everyone will grow with you. Some people will misunderstand. And your ambition, some people will become uncomfortable with your discipline because it reminds them of their own lack of effort. Others may leave your life completely. Growth changes relationships because transformation changes priorities. This is why the journey toward greatness can feel lonely. While others are relaxing, you are working. While others are distracted, you are focused. While others are making excuses, you are sacrificing. Not everyone will understand your vision because not everyone is willing to make the same sacrifices. But loneliness is often part of growth. Sometimes life isolates you so you can rebuild yourself without distractions. Sometimes you must walk alone for a season in order to discover your true strength. Sacrifice teaches independence, resilience, and discipline. There is also emotional sacrifice. Transformation requires facing fear, uncertainty, and discomfort. It requires risking failure and rejection. Many people avoid growth because they are African. A to losing, but avoiding risk is often the biggest risk of all. Staying the same may feel safe, but over time it leads to regret. Regret is the pain of realizing you could have become more but chose comfort instead. Years later, many people look back wishing they had taken action, worked harder, or believed in themselves sooner. Sacrifice protects you from that regret because it means you gave everything you had toward becoming your best self. Transformation also requires patience. Sacrifice rarely gives immediate rewards. There are seasons where you work hard and see little progress. You train, study, build, and struggle while nothing seems to change. That is where most people quit. They become discouraged because they expected instant results. But real transformation happens slowly. A tree does not grow overnight. Strength is built through repeated struggle. Character is built through consistent sacrifice. Greatness is built day by day, choice by choice. Every sacrifice you mom, key is shaping your future identity. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you become stronger. Every time you resist distraction, you build focus. Every time you continue despite difficulty, you develop resilience. At first, sacrifice feels like loss. You feel like you are missing out while others enjoy comfort and ease. But over time, you realize you are actually gaining something far more valuable. You are gaining self-respect, confidence, strength, purpose, freedom. There is no greater feeling than knowing you earned your transformation through discipline and sacrifice. Nobody handed it to you. Nobody rescued you. You built yourself through consistency and pain. That creates a confidence that cannot be taken away. Transformation also changes your standards. Once you experience growth, you stop tolerating things that once held you back. You stop accepting mediocrity. You stop settling for excuses. Your mindset becomes stronger because sacrifice raised your expectations for. Are yourself. The strongest people are not those who avoided sacrifice. They are the people who embraced it. They understood that temporary discomfort creates permanent growth. They were willing to suffer now so they could become more later. And one day, the sacrifices that once felt heavy begin to make sense. The early mornings, the discipline, the failures, the lonely nights, the hard decisions, they all shaped the person you became. You realize that every difficult moment was preparing you for a higher level of life. Transformation is not supposed to be easy. If it were easy, everyone would become extraordinary. But most people choose comfort over growth. They protect their old identity instead of evolving into something greater. Real transformation demands courage. The courage to leave behind what is familiar. The courage to face discomfort. The courage to sacrifice temporary pleasure for long-term greatness. Because the life you want will always require a version of you that died. O's not yet exist, and becoming that person will cost something. It will cost comfort. It will cost excuses. It will cost old habits and limiting beliefs. But the reward is worth it. Because on the other side of sacrifice is the strongest version of yourself. Before you click away, before you move on with your day, I need you to understand something. This message was not just motivation. This was a wake-up call. Because deep inside, you already know there is another version of yourself waiting to come alive. A stronger version, a fearless version, a disciplined version, a version that refuses to quit no matter how hard life gets. The question is not whether you have potential. The question is whether you are finally ready to stop playing small. For too long, some of you have doubted yourselves. You let fear control your decisions. You let failure convince you that you were not good enough. You let comfort steal your future. But hear me carefully, your past does not define you. Our struggles do not define you. Your failures do not define you. What defines you is the decision you make after this moment. You can leave this video and continue living the same life, making the same excuses, repeating the same habits, and staying stuck in the same cycle. Or you can make a decision today that everything changes from now on. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Because greatness is not created by luck. It is created by people who decide to fight for a better version of themselves every single day. People who keep moving even when nobody believes in them. People who stay disciplined when motivation disappears. People who refuse to surrender to weakness. And I know life has not been easy for you. I know there were moments when you felt broken. Moments when you felt broken. Moments when you felt tired of trying. Moments when you questioned yourself. But maybe all that pain was preparing you. Maybe every setback was building strength inside you that you could not yet see. You were not born to stay average. You were not born to waste your potential. You were not born to live with regret. There is greatness inside you, but greatness only appears when you demand more from yourself. When you stop waiting for perfect conditions. When you stop making excuses. When you stop fearing discomfort and start embracing growth. This world does not reward people who wish. It rewards people who work. It rewards people who stay focused. It rewards people who get up after every fall and continue moving forward. So from this moment on, stop doubting your power. Stop shrinking your dreams. Stop acting like your life does not matter. You have one life, one shot, one opportunity to become everything you were capable of becoming. Do not waste it. And years from now, when people look at your story, let them say this was the moment everything changed. Let them say this was the moment you stopped being weak. The moment you stopped running from pain. The moment you became disciplined, focused, and unstoppable. This is your time to rise. Your time to evolve. Your time to dominate. Now go out there and become the monster you were meant to be.